All right, this is B Rice. Somebody asked me a question about doing R&B vocals and how to get them to sound great and so forth and so on. Actually, that's my specialty. Anybody that's ever recorded with me or got anything engineered by me, they know that when it comes to singing, I can make it quite sound quite exceptional relative to the rap songs and other things that I do. As far as engineering goes. But first advice on singing or recording somebody singing, or if you're recording yourself or whatever, learn how to harmonize. And I can't emphasize that enough. And get an understanding of music theory a little bit so that you know what you're doing when somebody says, hey, hit the harmony on that or whatever. If you can just sing but you have no understanding of how to harmonize or for a layman's term, how to sing in a group, then you're gonna find it kind of difficult to really get some nice thick sounds. Harmonies run through all types of music, not just urban R&B, but rock most definitely, pop. Everybody, anybody that does any type of singing is definitely doing some harmonizing somewhere in the song. For the most part. It ain't very few songs out there there's not one harmony in. There's some type of harmonizing going on. So you definitely should learn how to do that, the concept of harmonizing and so forth and so on. The easiest way to kind of catch on to it is ask one of your friends that may go to church or whatever or sing in a gospel choir or whatever. Those people tend to know how to harmonize quite well because they're usually being taught it, from being a teenager and stuff. Sing this note while the other people sing that note, while the girls might sing this note, and all y'all sound together are harmonizing. Even though you're just doing something different, it all works to make one sound. Well, you need to learn how to do that and the concept of it so that you can do it yourself and hit all your own individual notes to make yourself sound like it's a bunch of little U's singing. So that's first things first. Learn how to harmonize. Um, Secondly, some of you may, some of you may not. I just threw that out there. Now, to the actual mixing part, as far as the recording goes, all right, this is an example. This is a song done by Miss Tremaine in Jacksonville, Florida. She's actually probably the single best harmonizing singer I've ever recorded ever. Um, this is a song she did. This is a track. This is the first track she laid down to the song she did called Man Eater. Um, if you notice, look at the recording. Look at the quality of the recording. If you notice, on the actual wave block itself, it's not high. It's not the wave is not touching the edges and getting all clipped off and distorted, and neither is it super low to where you can barely see it on the line. You want it to be about what you see right here in this picture. You don't want it to be distorted because once you record it in distorted, you can't undistort. You have to record it in nice, and then you can distort it all you want if that's what you want. But don't record stuff into the program distorted. So that can solve a lot of your problem right there. I can't think of how many times I got a session and people brung it to me, and their vocals are hot, and by hot I mean distorted and clipping, and then they want me to try to fix it. But you know what I'm saying? You can take a pile of dog crap and put lipstick on it, but at the end of the day, yeah, you get the picture. Moving on. So you got this waveform here. You record once, and this is what it sounds like. Got my dress on, playing my song. Just one thing. Now that sounds a little bit cleaner than you might expect a vocal to sound. One, because Tremaine can actually sing. Consider that too. So a lot of people, you have to understand a person's level of singing. It just comes with the territory. Some people look better than others. Some people are better football players than others. Some people are more talented than others. It just comes with the territory. You need to know who you're recording and their ability level, and that can help determine a lot of things. Tremaine is an excellent singer, so I'm not gonna be doing necessarily the same things I would do with her that I would do with different singers. So we know. So far we got one main lead of exactly. This is her verse, by the way. This is how I would record the verse. You can pick whether you want to record the hook or the verse or whatever. It's up to you. But this is her verse. So she laid that one down. And it sounds like a singular. Also, too, I auto-tuned this verse with a small amount of auto-tune. Some of you probably didn't even know that auto-tune could go that low. yes, it is true. Auto-tune was being used for years before T-Pain took it to the next level, and then everybody, kind of got sick of auto-tune. But it was being used years before that. It just was never used in excess until, more recently. But this actually has auto-tune on it. Not that she necessarily needs it, but when you talk about engineering, business is business, and we want it to sound 300%. We don't care about all of that politic crap about auto-tune. The bottom line is it just better sound clean. And when you're in engineering stuff, a lot of your personal opinion, you got to throw that out the window. And just do, kind of do what it takes to get it to sound premium. Do you think that the engineers who record Kim Kardashian's hit single was sitting there complaining about her singing, or were they trying to just fix it? They were probably just like, you know what, let's just do what we got to do to get her to sound right. Because we all know Kim Kardashian is not Mariah Carey. So anyways, Tremaine recorded this one right here. Then she came through, and I had her do the same exact thing again. So then she came, and if you notice right here, she did the same thing that she did here. And so let's bring that into the mix, and we'll hear the difference. Got my dress on, playing my song. Now when she put it in, then I had her do another one, a third one. I like to do everything symmetrically. So if she does 3 takes, I'm going to have 1 in the center and 2 on the outsides. If she does 4 takes, I'm going to have none in the center, 2 to the left, and 2 to the right with nothing in the center. But it's got to, for me personally, it's got to be symmetrical either way. If she does 5 takes, then yes, it'll be 1 in the center, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. And when I say side, I'm referring to the left and right speaker, panning to the left and the right. So I had her do 3 of these. So as we can see all 3 right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you can imagine this one's in the center, this one's panned to the left, and this one's panned to the right. Let's see how it sounds, as opposed to just the one you heard. Got my dress on, playing my song. Now it sounds stacked, but it doesn't sound ridiculous. You know why? Well, let's go to the edit window and see why. Over here, I have this one panned 100 to the right. I have this one panned 100 to the left. And then I have 1 in the center. So you can see, then just, you hear the difference? Also, I have effects on the voice and so forth and so on. I keep my effects very simple. A compressor, an EQ, and some kind of verb or delay. I like delays better than verbs because they exaggerate They exaggerate your voice more than reverb does. Reverb just sounds real amateurish to me, to be honest. But that's my own personal thing. I kind of get real artsy with my mixing or whatever. Not to say that I haven't used reverb and that I wouldn't, because I would. But I just like delays better. They're more they exaggerate the voice more. And that's a whole nother thing about delays. I could do a whole nother video about just simply on how to use a delay on singing vocals. So we got our 3 stacks or whatever, and notice above all things that she is in rhythm on all 3. Don't settle for less. Don't be doing takes and then being like, well, it's a little off here. No, do them all right, because you're gonna be paying for it in the end. Got my dress on. Okay, now let's see if she has. Let me see if she got any harmonies on this. No, not there. She doesn't have any harmonies there. Let's see. Okay, so she has a couple of harmonies here. So when I had her come to do the harmonies, I had her do 2. Now, what am I going to do with those 2? I'm going to pan them, and I'm going to pan them symmetrically. I might throw 180 to the left and 180 to the right, but it's going to be 80 on both sides. So we play it, and let's hear how and then the harmonies that do come in, I turn them down too. I balance them. You balance them by turning them up and down, not throughout the mix, but when you start. You see that? Now that's a harmony. Doesn't sound like much by itself, but let's add it back in with what she was originally saying. I'm in my zone, and if I'm right, I'm looking pretty good tonight. You see that? It's called harmonizing. Uh, when I had her come in and do the harmony, I just did two, spread them out. I'm gonna see how what I got these things panned at. I got them at 90 on both sides, left and right. 90, one's 90 to the left and one's 90 to the right. They are symmetrical. The three main vocals is one in the center, one's 100 to the left and 100 to the right. I try not to pan stuff at the same panning, you know. So we're looking at this. This is 90 to the. This is 100 to the left, 100 to the right, center. This is 90 to the left, 90 to the right. And so that way, if you were looking straight on at it, it would look like some kind of blooming. It would like a flower of some kind, and everything would be evenly spread out, and it would have its own space. You do that. You add harmonies to it until you get the desired sound. Don't overdo it. You know. Well, if you listen to that, that's what Pro Tools normally does. Excuse that. I'm in my zone, and if I'm right, I'm looking pretty good tonight. It doesn't take much more than that to get it, especially when you're mixing it. You know, you got the music and so forth and so on. Let's have the beat back in and to kind of see how it sounds. Why my beat muted? I'm doing something that. Oh, it's on solo. Looking pretty good tonight. Make my So as we see, with the music and everything, there's not very many vocals. It's just 5 vocals, 3 of which are identical, and these 2 are identical. So it's only 2 different types of vocals, but 5 different takes, spread out symmetrically. That's it. It doesn't take much. One big mistake I see people doing with recording and trying to stack vocals is they overdo it. I can think of countless times where I got sessions and people will drop them off. I'll delete half the takes they did. They don't even know it. And I'll just use maybe 3 or 4 tracks, spread them out evenly with the panning, and balance them with the volume knobs. I'm going to repeat that again. Spread them out evenly with panning. Spread them out to make them sound big. And then balance the voices with the volume knobs. That's really the key to getting it. Other things like EQing, compression, and reverb and delays, that's actually extra stuff. You should be able to get vocals to sound pretty decent by just the pan and the volume alone. As a practice, I would highly, and I repeat, highly suggest try recording some harmonies of your own takes, you know, come up with whatever you got, and just try to balance it by just panning them out symmetrically and balancing the volume meter, and see if you can get it right with just doing that with no effects. Keep practicing that until you get it. Until you get it like, okay, man, this thing sounds smooth with no effects on it. You know, in fact, I really don't want to mess up this session, but I can mute these. Whoops, I almost broke that permanently. Okay, let's mute these 3 effects that's on her voice, so we can hear what they actually naturally sounded like. It's Tremaine now, so it's probably still gonna sound pretty decent, but. And as you notice, it's considerably lower. Let me turn it up. This is what her voice sounded like, dry. And this is all this has is volume. Is the volumes are set to where I got it balanced out volume wise, and I got it panned, spread out. So let's listen to it. Got my dress on, playing my song. Oh, and not those harmonies. Those harmonies do still got the effects on them, if you didn't notice. But you notice it just sounds dry, but it sounds balanced. No effects. And that's how you should always mix. You know, you start off with the dry, and then you add to it. You don't try to just. And another thing too with effects, I see people doing. Don't just throw effects on it because you think it needs effects. Do what you can hear it needs. But you know what I'm saying? Don't just, man, I heard all vocals have compressions. Let me throw a compressor on it. Oh, you know, vocals need EQing, so let me throw Why are you throwing the EQ? What are you looking to accomplish with it? You know, sometimes I'll record vocals and I won't put no EQ on it if there's nothing out here that I want to EQ. So stuff like that. Hopefully that'll help, a lot. I mean, this whole subject could really go on and on and on as far as recording and stuff like that. But like I said, it all boils down to just learning how to the basics. Record your takes in there, make sure they're all even, and then just try to practice balancing them out with the volume and the pan knobs only. Do that first until you get real comfortable with how that sounds. And then you can work on to, I would say, next compression. Because that's just going to make it stick out. But that's a whole other thing. So let me know something.